What is going on, everybody? It is the Full Throttle Hog, and it is Monday. I'm so excited. It is Motovlogger Monday. It is good to see you all. Thank you for coming by. And if this is your first time participating and watching this live, we cover just everything motorcycle related and get together with other motovloggers, just a platform for us to come together. We have a fantastic show for you tonight. I'm so excited to go over some stuff. We're going to have Clint August from Motorcycle Monkey. If you guys aren't following him, you're going to have plenty of opportunity to do that. We're going to be going over some collaborations and what we have planned for 2021, which probably is going to include some of y'all out there. So stay tuned for that. We're going to go over the recent trip with Adam Sandoval and that, answer some of your questions there. Let me just make sure that the audio is coming across just fine. So we're going to go over the trip with Adam Sandoval. We're going to talk about motovlog tips and tricks, which is another thing that this platform is for. We're going to do some motorcycle news stuff. And then throughout this live stream, we're going to touch base with all of y'all that's over in the side chat. So please participate there, and we will hopefully get to your questions. Okay, so we have a very special guest. I'm pretty excited to have him on. It is Mr. Clint August, aka Motorcycle Monkey. He is a YouTuber. He is a content creator. He is a podcast host, and he does bike review and product review and all that kind of good stuff. And he is also a voice personality, I would say, or a voice jockey for 101.5 KGB FM. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring in Mr. Clint August. Clint,
hello,
what's
sir.
Up, buddy?
Hanging out, dude. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Just a little caveat. If you guys watched the Baggers and Brews live stream, you'll probably know that sometimes the voice changes a little bit when it comes to StreamYard. So Clint had the same thing that I had when I was on their live stream, where his voice is just a little bit deeper. I think it sounds pretty good, actually.
Did you see the size of them chickens?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little bit different, but we're going to roll with the punches. It wouldn't be a live stream without some type of technology glitch, if you will. But Clint, thank you so much for coming on with us today. And we're just going to jump right into it, man. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about you and who is Motorcycle Monkey?
Well, I host a radio show from 3 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday on 101.5 KGB, a heritage classic rock station for, I think going on 45 years now in San Diego. I do that, if I didn't say, 3 to 7 p.m. I got into, and I'm also married with 2 kids, my boys Dylan and Gavin, who work with me at the Motorcycle Monkey shop. But I got into YouTubing just a couple of years ago. I really wanted to start reviewing bikes and sharing my passion on YouTube with others. And it's worked out all right, because it went from, just trying to get a bike or two once in a while for the channel to doing one every month now, and probably more in the near future, because I do a segment on KUSI, which is the first Friday of every month, 6:40 in the morning. The bike that I'm covering, there it is, the 2020 Honda Goldwing, the last one that I did. The Triumph Thruxton is the last one I did. This is the second to last one I did. But I get to do that with Dave Stahl and Good Morning San Diego on KUSI, and in turn, that gives me more juice to be able to get bikes until my channel gets bigger. I'm finally over 7,500 subscribers and trying to grow that. But man, I just been doing this a couple of years now. I'm involved with coffee in the shop that riders meet up with at every Saturday and enjoy some coffee and hit the road.
That's awesome, buddy. And that's one of the, I'm going to kind of sidestep as far as how we met. So if you guys have been following this channel, we actually, you would know that I took a 14-year stint away from riding motorcycles. And when I got that 2020 Road Glide Special, the first ride I took on that 2020 Road Glide Special was to a coffee shop, which is about, as the crow flies, I would say 1 mile from my front door. And the first person that I ran into at that moment was Clint August, and he was there, and I have a Tundra, and I used to have a off-roading Tundra page, and he was there in his Tundra, and we just started chit-chatting, and little did we know we both were into the same things, and we've done some collaboration videos together, which has been a lot of fun, and there'll be a lot more of that coming down the road. But Clint was the first guy that I met out on the road with that 2020 Road Glide Special. So
That was pretty funny too, dude, because I remember I was leaving the coffee corner and I was walking away. Do you remember this? And you pulled up on your road glide, and I saw this dude, didn't know him. It was you, obviously. And I literally was thinking, man, I don't know. Okay, he's on the phone. I don't know if I want to bug him, but he's riding. I want to invite him out to ride somewhere. And I think you had just hung up, and I decided, yeah, I'm going back. I got to say hello to this guy. You were super friendly, man. We became pals very quickly. Actually, had quite a good conversation. We went on a few rides together. And by the way, with the collaborations, I have to admit, I'm like your kind of quick clip. I have fun with it, a lot of fun with it. I'm trying to get better with the videography, if you will, filming it. And Ryan, if you've seen his channel, more than likely you have. It's way more cinematic. It's way more, I would say, high quality. So who knows? Maybe one day I'll get there. But right now, I'm just a schlub who likes to get these motorcycles and sometimes do collaborations with you. So yeah.
Well, and I'll jump in there, Clint, and tell you that you are probably one of the busiest people that I have ever met. The amount of work that you're putting in, you always have 7, 10, 15, man, more plates than I can count that are spinning, and you keep them up and spinning. And we're going to get into more of that. You know, a little bit about, you know, you and this motorcycle journey that's led you into that kind of spider webbed into so many other things. Yeah. So I would probably say, you know, you getting into the bike life, where did that start? And, you know, maybe just walk us through how you even got into motorcycles to begin with.
Well, so, you know, my uncle Keith and a couple of other uncles, actually, when I was a kid, that I would see like these pictures of either a Husqvarna or a Bull Taco motorcycle. And I never got to see them ride personally, but I knew they went to the desert to ride. So had my first introduction to motorcycles as a very young kid, when we would all gather at my grandmother's house, and, you know, the Thanksgiving thing, the Christmas thing. So I just sort of started to learn about that. Now you're going to laugh at me, but then of course there's Happy Days with the Fonz riding his bike. So as a kid, I'm like, ooh, that's cool. And I actually got my first motorcycle. It was a 1983 Honda V45 Magna 750 from my buddy Eric Gage, who now, incidentally, years later, just a few months ago, is now back on a bike himself. And we've ridden together a few times, but that's a whole other story. But I bought that from him for $1,200. Love that bike. I took that thing to Phoenix and back, Vegas and back, ran it into the ground, never serviced it ever. And I sold it to my buddy Glenn, and I was bummed. I knew I would be. I was super bummed that I sold that bike. So I went years without a bike, kind of like you, took a hiatus. And then I met my then girlfriend, now wife, Christy. And it was funny. We talked about how I rode and stuff. You have these conversations with your significant other. And I remember her saying, oh, well, you'll never ride again. And I'm like, what? Yeah, right. You know, and it just so happened that one Thanksgiving in 2002, we were out at her mom's house in Phoenix, Arizona, and I had 3 plates of food, 3 different desserts. I don't know what I did to myself, but it was like, I started having stomach pains and cold sweat and a little bit of chest pain. I thought, oh my God, am I having a heart attack? Well, my wife drove me to the urgent care, but it was Thanksgiving night. So they weren't open. I thought, oh man, I'm going to buy the farm here. And this is pertinent to the story. We ended up getting to the ER. They took me in before everybody else. 6 hours later, after EKG and ultrasound and Xanax under the tongue to calm me down, all that stuff. They said, you know, Mr. August, you're going to be able to go home now with a clean bill of health because it's a fluke. We don't know what you had, but it wasn't a heart attack. It wasn't anything like that. It wasn't a panic attack. I'm like, what? So anyway, I went to sleep for 4 hours. My wife wakes me up, honey, we're at her mom's house. And she goes, let's go. And I said, I don't know why I'm laughing. The old meat sweats. Did they just put that? Oh my God, that's brilliant, because that's what I call it. That is absolutely what I call it. The meat sweats. That's brilliant. Salty and sprinkles. Anyway, so we had planned on me going to Chandler Harley Davidson because I've always wanted a Harley. And I looked at her and I said, that's a bad idea after last night. That's a really bad idea, because I thought I was going to buy the farm. And she says, let's go. We went. This guy Mario walks up to me. They're busy as hell at the time. And he just goes, hey, man, can I help you? I said, don't waste your time. My credit sucks. I know you've got other people that you should talk to. And he kind of laughed. He goes, bro, it's no skin off my butt. He goes, I can run a credit report for you. I said, I'm not here to buy. I just want to look around. Oh, there anything you're looking at? It was a blue Softail Heritage Classic, a 2000. And right next to it, the bike that I wound up with, which is the 2000 Harley Davidson Road King Classic. And I was kind of back and forth, like, I don't know. Wasn't even planning on buying it. we end up going to lunch and leaving the dealership, and Mario went ahead and ran a credit report. Zero intention of buying a bike, zero. And he called me up during lunch and he goes, "Hey bro, come pick one of the two you want." I'm like, "What?" So obviously, who knew that by paying off your credit cards and actually paying your bills on time for 7 years, that you could actually improve your credit? It did.
Hey.
Right?
Yeah, who would have thought?
So we go back to the dealership, and I'm giving you the shorter version of this because there's a lot more to it. But so remember what I told you in the beginning of the story that my wife said you'll never ride again. Well, now suddenly we go there and she goes, "Well, which one do you like?" And I go, "Well, probably the Black Road King, because, Mario said that's actually better for distance. And if I want to go a long ways, I want to go a long ways." And she goes, "Oh, okay." She goes, "Well, what do you think?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, what do I think? We don't have $20,000. I can't, I'm not going to put this on a credit card." And all of a sudden her mom goes, "Well, if you get a Harley, she gets babies." And I'm like, what the hell kind of compromise is that? What she didn't know is...
Did you say abort?
Well,
abort the mission. Abort the mission.
Yeah, I might
Just
have.
kidding.
Except, well, no, but here's the thing what her mom didn't know is she and I were already trying. But we just didn't tell her. We already talked about trying. So next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, as psycho as that is to hear something like that, I'm in, because I'm like, we're already planning on this. So I look at my wife and I go, "What the hell's going on here?" And she goes, what kind of helmet do you want?" And I go, "Who are you? And where's my wife?" And they kind of laughed, and Mario came back over and saw the discussion we were having. And he said, "Hey bro, here's the paperwork if you want to do it, the Black Road King." And I sat down and I took the pen in my hand and I look up at him and her, both ladies, my mother-in-law, my wife, and I go, "You realize I'm going to sign this for $20,000. I'm going to sign this piece of paper." And they go, "We think you're stupid if you don't." And Mario starts laughing. I'm trying to talk him out of it. Like, "You don't know what you're doing right now." Well, we did it. And so, yeah, got it home the next day after Thanksgiving. We left her mom's house, and lo and behold, man, I fell in love with it. And I still have that same bike. And even though it's 21 years old, I got no plans to sell that thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And obviously with 20 years on that bike and the different adventures that you've had on that bike, can you give us kind of a rundown of what your favorite motorcycle trip and or journey was? Riding it doesn't have to necessarily be that bike, but what sticks out in your head as far as a motorcycle trip?
I know you're asking for one. I got three in mind, and you just pick whichever one you want me to tell you about. Though there's Laughlin, because of Oatman, Arizona, with the mining burros, the jackasses that stop you on the road for carrots. I loved that. Then there's Oregon, just last year, going to La Grande, Oregon with my buddy and riding up to, just Wallowa Lake and Battleground National Park, and all, just an awesome time. I guess so. I'm gonna say, instead of you picking it, I have to say it's probably Sturgis, Needles, Iron Mountain. I would say Mount Rushmore, and I would say certainly part of that trip. If you ever do Sturgis, you're within 3.5 hours. You have to do Beartooth Pass. There's nothing I've ever taken like it. I don't know if I'll ever beat it, although I am going to Glacier coming up in a few months. That might, but nothing's come close to Beartooth. It ruined me for riding in San Diego. And you'll say, same thing I will. San Diego has some great rides. Julian's my favorite ride in San Diego. It took me 10 months to enjoy any riding in San Diego when I first went in 2015 and saw Beartooth and Needles and Sturgis and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would say Beartooth.
You helped us plan our trip to Sturgis, because we pretty much followed the beat of your drummer. We sat down. So Clint and I met back at that coffee shop, which we frequent quite often. It's called Coffee Corner, by the way, in Santee. If you're ever in the area, they are very motorcycle friendly. But yeah, we met up there. Clint had maps and everything, and we were drawing out on what he recommended. He couldn't make it last year. But yeah, just going through that exact same route. And I will tell you, 100% agree. I mean, we stayed at the same hotel that you did up in Red Lodge, Montana, which was amazing. It really was. So yeah, I would have to say that Sturgis is a tough one to beat. It's a tough one to beat. And
it is.
And right now we're going to go check in over on the side here and see who is all with us right now. So Throttle Down Under, he was here bright and early and was already excited, and he said he's going to go make some coffee and settle in. So Throttle Down Under, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you're enjoying the stream. Give it a thumbs up if you are.
Cool logo, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's almost like vintage with.
I love that.
Yeah, that's nice. Of course, Salty and Sprinkles, they are in the house. They have a really awesome channel as well. It's got a unique kind of take on it. Setzer Pendants is here. I don't think I didn't wanted to put that one on. But yeah, he's in the house. Dave Hendrickson.
Why do I know that name?
Also, I'm not sure. You probably know him.
Dave Hendrickson. I know that name. Well, anyway.
Yeah. So Egerlund is also in the house. Hello. Thank you for joining us. And don't forget, throughout this live stream on the side chat, if you guys have questions for Clint, throw them in there. We're going to make sure we try to get through them. And just have a different take. Like I said, this live stream is about us motovloggers coming together, trying to develop maybe even collaborations for the future. So hopefully you guys are reaching out outside of this platform and coming up with some good ideas, because I will tell you that collaboration videos are awesome. It's a great way to grow your channel, and it's just a great way to get out there with other like-minded people. So please make sure you guys are participating in that live chat, because we are going to get through it. Let's see, who else do we have here? We have Bell's Rides Moto is in the house. Hello, thank you for joining us. This kind of jumped around on me just a little bit. See if I can.
And when you do this, Ryan, I'm going to have to later on, I'm going to have to go back and watch this, because I follow Bell's Rides Moto. I follow Salty and Sprinkles. I know I follow another person on here, but for the ones that I don't, I'm going to follow everybody by looking back at this. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it. So Northco Baggers, thank you for coming by and being with us. Let's see here.
I just saw like an ad for Nikon or something come up.
Yeah. It's.
Are you trying to subliminally get us to buy a Nikon because you use those high-dollar cameras for your channel? Is that what's going on here? The hell's going on here, Ryan?
This is not sponsored by any means, but I know it really isn't. But yeah, we're going to keep going through the show and get back with Mr. Clint August of Motorcycle Monkey. He's here with us tonight. And don't forget, Motovlogger Mondays. You know, we're going to try to be on here every single Monday if we can at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern, and just help each other out. So tell us, Clint, what are your plans for 2021? What's on the agenda?
As far as motorcycles, man, I plan already. In fact, I was just talking to my buddy Mark Baker, who you're going to want to know, whoever is, because I don't get to see what you're seeing about everybody who's on here. I know you see all of that, Ryan, who owns a cabin in La Grande, Oregon, and he puts it on Airbnb. And I can give you the information, Ryan, to give to anybody who asked for it. But it's actually the High Road Cabins. We went last year, and it was my son Dylan and his friend Gio. Now it's going to be me, my son Dylan, my younger son Gavin, Gio again, and another friend of theirs, Asher. We're going to take off on July 14th, and we'll be there by the afternoon of the 15th. We're going to meet my buddy in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. First go up through Montana, Whitefish, and now I'm forgetting the other part, Darby, Montana, because that's where they filmed the series Yellowstone. That's where the ranch is.
Oh, nice.
And,
great show.
Man, it's a great show. And so both of us love that show. Oh, it's one of the best shows on TV. And excuse me. We want to go see the ranch if we can. You're not allowed, like, they won't rent out the house. They have 2 8-person cabins, or what do you call them, dude? Bunkhouses. That's what they call them. But we didn't get them in time. I didn't even know they did that. So we were hoping to see the property on our way up to Glacier National Park. We're going to stay with a couple of friends of Mark's and his wife, Caroline, and then make our way back down to La Grande, Oregon, and stay in his cabin. And it's just beautiful. There are so many places to see. Now, admittedly, I have to say, yes. Oh, God, Bell says that Whitefish is absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see it. And for me, man, it's, you and I talking about Beartooth and these trips that you've taken even. I don't know that there's anything better than beautiful countryside, even in a car, but better on a bike. And I have these goals to go and do this. But, with a wife and 2 kids, and I've got the job, and, like you, Lot of things going on. The shop on the weekends, it's tough to get away. And when I do, I also want to make sure that my wife's included. So we have another trip later on in the year, which has nothing to do with motorcycles, but I am hoping to be able to rent a bike where we're going. But the big one is probably going to be for motorcycling, the one that I just told you about. I really have to see Glacier National Park. I've really got to see it because it's the only place that I've ever heard 3 different humans tell me that it's actually more beautiful than Beartooth. Everyone else who hasn't been to Glacier says that is Beartooth is the nicest. So I have to go.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's kind of leading me into the next topic, and everybody that's joining us live, or if you're watching the replay of this live stream, with Clint being in radio and so much, he does so much for the community. We have, he set up things for Saturday get-togethers over at his shop, which we'll get into in just a little bit. And also bringing back the bike night to San Diego. It was back 14 years ago when I was riding. That was a big deal, and that kind of disappeared. And Clint has pretty much single-handedly, I mean, he's got help too from people for sure, but he has single-handedly brought that back to this community, which is awesome here in San Diego. So if you guys are ever in the San Diego area, you need to reach out and make sure you join us for the Thursday bike nights that happen every third Thursday of the month. And then every Saturday from 8 to 11, his shop's open. A lot of riders come in between their rides and visit with the shop and things like that. But with Clint being in radio and meeting different people, I'm telling you right now that he has to talk to us about this, and you guys are all going to be excited because I want to know about your time spending with Ryan Hurst. Right. So he got a chance. This is at the Motorcycle Monkey. This is at the Coffee Corner shop where Clint and I met. But, the opportunity to hang out with Ryan Hurst, which is Opie for Sons of Anarchy. And I just think he's a phenomenal actor. And he just he was my favorite character on that show by bar none. But tell us about that experience and how that happened.
So Sequan Casino and Resort, they are a place out here that is on the Sequan Indian Reservation. And I endorsed them on the radio. Well, several years ago, they knew I loved motorcycles. I had taken some lunch rides and overnighters to their place. I mean, look at this crowd of people. It was amazing. Well, they called me one day while I was in one of the sales manager's offices, and they knew what my answer would be. They said, "Hey, buddy, what do you think about Clint's Ride Club?" Because I do that every month, get riders together and ride around different routes in San Diego with Ryan Hurst. And I jumped out of my seat, and they couldn't see me, but they could hear me jump because I'm fat. And they started laughing. I said, "Hell yes. How do we make this happen?" So they talked to his manager. There was a charity tied to it that Sequan donated to as well for our military. And that's what drew him out to come ride with us. Now, this is, I think, 3, 4, or 5 years after the show was over. And he's still, as you know, a massive draw. The guys, and he was on Walking Dead. He's, now, so he's a, I would consider him to be a big time actor now. Some years ago, he was more of a bit part, but I think Opie brought him into the forefront of television and then movies. But you can see as we're riding out here, we took a route, the long route, 42 miles, the back route to Sequan to have lunch. Dude, let me tell you, when he arrived, first thing I noticed was 6'4" on his bio, I think is bogus. That dude's got to be 6'6". He's a giant. Okay. Then you add the man bun, another 2 inches. He's huge. And I'm always concerned about meeting someone who I admire. Because if they're a jerk, it ruins it. It just absolutely ruins it. This guy was so nice, so friendly, very, very low key, no ego whatsoever. He greeted, as you started to see in that video, he greeted everyone, every single person that came up and wanted an autograph or a picture. He did it with a smile on his face. Now, this is funny, okay? We're on this ride, and this day had to be 100+ degrees on these Harleys. Now, we rented that Harley that he's on from Biggs Harley Davidson in San Marcos. So that was pretty badass right there. Pardon my language. I don't know if I should even say that, but whatever.
No, you're fine.
Okay. So we're riding the back route here, Skyline Truck Trail and Hapatool Road. It's a beautiful place to ride, and it's hot as hell. We pull up to a stop sign, and I guess it's not going to be as funny when I tell it, but imagine him like that at a stop sign. I look to my right and I go, "Hey man," over the roar of the engines. "You okay?" He's got sweat pouring down his forehead and his face. And I mean, like someone dumped a bucket of water on him. And he looks over and he just goes, yeah, man. I don't know why that made me laugh, but so we hauled it around and made our way to Sequan. He sat with everyone. He talked with everyone. We did a Q&A at the end of that video. Just a nice, genuine dude. Yeah, and this is actually Game Day Sports Bar and Grill with some really good food, by the way. And at the end, we did that Q&A. We spent like 20 minutes, 25 minutes doing a Q&A. He wasn't rushed. He never once acted like he had to get the hell out of there. It was me that had to end it. I felt bad. We were taking up so much of his time. Yeah, here's that Q&A. Now, this is where I wish I knew you before, Ryan, because I had one camera, one angle. Had you been there, I guarantee you it would have been like 3 angles and slow-mo and cinematic and good quality, but it's all I had at the time. And he was just gracious, man. And I tried to get him to talk about in this, are they going to do, what do they call it? The original 9 or something?
It'd be the first 9, I believe, is what they're going to
First 9, something like that. Yeah. And he couldn't say anything. I asked, did they contact you to do anything at all? If there's going to be something like a Sons of Anarchy prequel. And he's like, can't talk about any of that. So it sounded to me like maybe they were planning something like that, but I don't know.
I believe for a while they were planning on doing the first 9. I've heard that has been kind of benched for a little bit, and that Kurt Sutter might be working on the story of Jax's kids, I guess, growing up. But anything to bring bring some type of SOA back on TV. I mean, I'm in. I really enjoyed that show, to be honest with you.
Maybe we'll do a live stream of watching that show together, Ryan. Let's do it.
There we go. I'm in. But yeah, no, I mean, those are the cool things that you meet, and the people that you meet and the adventures you get to take by, not only you having just a different type of reach, right? Because of some of the connections that you make along the way, but it's a win-win for everybody. You brought that into the San Diego area, which is anybody who is riding at that particular time, who wouldn't want to ride with Ryan Hurst, right? And a lot of people that don't, maybe they follow the show or they don't realize, and I tell this story quite a bit, is I let them know that, Ryan Hurst, one of his biggest roles is Remember the Titans.
Yep.
Right. And so you
forget about that.
100%, because it's 2 different type of acting styles. So very cool to see. That was, I was definitely bummed that we didn't know each other at that time, because yes, I would have done my best to put the best production I could, because that's just fantastic. So,
what's hard, Ryan? Here's what's hard. I have his number in my phone, but how do you call a guy? You got to respect that you're not buddies. You want to think that you are, but you're not. I'm just some guy that, met him and he was great too for a day. And I love the dude, but I could never just call and go, hey pal, let's do it again. Shall we? You know what I mean?
See, it's perfect. You call him and you're like, hey, Ryan, and just start talking to him. You're like, I totally called the wrong Ryan. You meant to call me. And it's
dude, I'm going to do it. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Hell yes.
Yeah. So we'll get him back in the mix that way. We'll work on something there, buddy. So, moving, on to that, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this past week and the trip that we had a chance to take with Adam Sandoval a little bit later, and just kind of talking to those people that are obviously busy. And I know what you mean. They're busy and they got things going on, and you don't want to be invasive. You want to respect their space and their time, and also come together in the collaborations. This was my first time collaborating with somebody of a big name, if you will, and Adam Sandoval, in my opinion, is just a legend for riding in the motorcycle community. So I know exactly what you're talking about, but that's going to be in a little bit here. But let's talk about Motovloggers, right? So let's talk about, who are are you following any Motovloggers out there? Are you getting ideas from folks? Are you watching a particular Motovlogger? Because I think as viewers, it's really important to get other content creators' mindset and what they're creating and what they want that audience to be, right? So can you kind of share with us how you're getting your inspiration and who you're watching?
Well, so I do like Adam Sandoval, and I haven't known about him for too long. I don't remember if it's been a year yet, or maybe it's been a couple years. I learned about him through the Law Tigers, and then you were a huge fan. I found that out, but it really Coffee Corner. Shenanigans. All right.
Coffee corners in the house.
Well, that's where I get all my coffee too, by the way. I'm giving them straight up a plug. I've been going there almost every day for about 10, 11 years. They are phenomenal. Anyway, so I like Adam Sandoval. I like Adam Sandoval a lot. I don't get to watch full videos when they're too long because I'm like a squirrel, man. It's like I sit down, I watch, 5 minutes of something, get back to something on my show, or I'll get back to my kids or downstairs and come back up. It's just sporadically throughout the day. But there's two of them. I don't know if they're still on here because I can't see who's on here or not. Like I said, I want to follow everybody once I look back at this because I'm very interested to follow more vloggers. I like Bells. Bells Rides Moto. I like her videos. I also like Salty and Sprinkles. I like the lightheartedness of that, and just the way people sort of take you on their adventure. You know what I mean? And I aspire to actually do more travel, but again, I don't have a lot of time for it, and I don't do it often enough to make my channel about travel. I just don't. I don't have the time for it. So it's mostly the bike reviews, but when I get to see other people and I get to live vicariously through them on the little trips they take, I like that a lot. And as far as Bells goes, I really like seeing female riders. I really like it. And especially like if they ride alone and do some, different things like campouts or whatever, trips by themselves. I don't know a lot of ladies who do that. So when I see one that does, it's like, this is interesting. I like this because you get to see this perspective and look, I know women can take care of themselves. I get it. There's girls who can kick the crap out of me. I know that all day long. But I think it takes a lot of courage, right? And a unique individual, especially a female, to go and do this on their own. Would I take a trip on my own as a dude? Sure, I would. But it's not my first choice. Even me, like, you know what I mean? I want to have buddies along. I want to have friends along. But when I see these vloggers who go and do it on their own, the few that do, I like that a lot. And I don't even know why, really. It's cool to go along those adventures.
Yeah, for sure. And there's just so much, there's so many different content creators out there. And that's why I think there's probably no better time than right now to be a content creator, for the sheer fact that, especially, I mean, you look at the pandemic and everything that's been going on. I think they said that YouTube watch hours are up like 77%, something ridiculous like that. So there's definitely good content. And, selfishly for me, by doing these live streams and getting other people to follow along or jump into the live streams, it allows me to reach out and watch other content creators, because there's always somebody with a different take, and you mentioned a couple good things, and half of what we do here on this live stream is help other content creators out. And you hit the nail on the head when you said sometimes the videos are too long. So my first tip for this live stream is going to be, you need to treat your content like a dating relationship. Okay. So if you're just starting out, and when I say just starting out, I'm going to go as far as saying, 10,000 would be probably where you can start paving your own way, but 5,000 subscribers, maybe. But in the beginning, you're asking people to take time out of their day. The most important thing we have pretty much in life is time. So you're asking them to take that away. So I always encourage content creators and motovloggers, shorten down that clip, take out the fluff, take out anything else. It's much better to have somebody watch, for the YouTube algorithm, it's much better to have them watch a 4-minute clip 75% of the way than an 18-minute clip that you created that they only watch 2 minutes of. Does that make sense? Because people are busy, right? And you're trying to get them you need them to click on your video, and then you need to keep them attached to the video. So that's going to be my tip, number one, as we go through this live stream. But try to shorten it down, get rid of the fluff, try to find an avenue that you like pursuing, whether that be a bike review or product review. Don't worry about other motovloggers. They are not your competition. And I discuss this all the time. There's motovloggers, so much space. There is so much space, and it creates that appetite for so many people that if, for example, Clint, if you and I are out there with 3 other motovloggers and we're doing a review on the 2021, whatever it is, we're actually creating that market. YouTube is now going to say, hey, there's some videos, and everybody that's clicking on these videos, it kind of creates that drive. And for me, I'm an emotional buyer. So if I'm going to pull the trigger on something, I don't just watch one video that somebody made on that particular bike. I'm going to watch every video that's ever been created on YouTube. So you actually help each other out. So, cut down on the fluff, shorten down your clips quite a bit. I try to stay between, I would say, anywhere between 4 and 10 minutes if I can. That I think that is a happy medium. But when you go a lot higher than that, 15, 18, 20 minutes, it's just hard to keep somebody engaged that entire time. I don't know what your thoughts are, Clint.
No, listen, I'm no expert by any means. I'm like I said, I'm about 7,500 subscribers, and I got a lot to learn. And you do a lot of research. I know that about you. You are the guy that studies the algorithms and the do's and the don'ts, and when you hit certain levels, what can happen with your channel. So I think that's all great advice. For me personally, I absolutely agree with you. I just can't sit and watch. I don't know. I would say on occasion, if I'm completely enthralled, I would say maybe I'll watch 12, 15 minutes. But most of the time I'm looking specifically for videos where I can see, oh, I can do 7 minutes. I can do 5 minutes and 38 seconds. Okay, 8.5, sure. That kind of thing. It starts to get up there, and I don't want to start it because I want to be able to finish it. There are, I know this isn't motorcycle driven, but there's a guy who, because I got my Mavic Air 2, and I know, and thank you for the help on flying that. I'd like to do that again, by the way. I finally got the thing off the ground, but I watched a video, and I forget the name of the channel, but the guy does all these drone reviews, product reviews, and it was longer than I would normally want to see. It was 32 minutes long. However, this guy, there was no fluff. He literally took you from start to finish when you unbox it, taking all the stickers off, how to put the rotors on your everything, just everything, how to charge it. And he didn't have all that in between trying to extend it. So that was an exception. That was a very long video for me to watch, but it's because he kept me engaged by getting to what he wanted to show me and giving me great information. Now, I don't know about you, but I have had comments. For me, it is all about the bike I'm reviewing. For me, it's all about the route that I'm trying to show, right? But I also notice even you, it's like a lot of YouTubers give themselves more screen time. And I actually like that. I like seeing more of you, more of Bells, Salty and Sprinkles, all that stuff. So maybe I've got to show a little more of me in the video, so it's not just the product, I guess. That's where I need, right. And that's where I need, because I did TV. And so I'm real comfortable on the camera. I'm not saying I'm great on camera. I'm just comfortable on camera. I'm nothing pretty to look at, as you can see. But I think, based on what I like and feedback I've gotten from my channel, I want to see more of you on the camera. So, good mix. So maybe I need a little more of me, but that balance is very hard for me to find. And I'm only saying that because maybe that's something that you could cover later, if not now. Or maybe somebody else you talk to, if you have them as a guest who's got that down.
We'll even ask the side chat, get them involved as far as, getting your personality out there and creating that type of content and just different ideas for sure. And then we'll look at what they have to say there in the side chat.
Hey, Nathan's watching, by the way. When I posted, I just saw his comment on Motorcycle Monkey. He just put watching. So hello, Nathan.
What's up, Nathan? Thanks for watching. So let's talk a little bit about the podcast. So Clint is not only, if you guys are joining us late, he's from 101.5 KGB FM here in San Diego, but he is going to have a new, along with his coffee brand, which hopefully you can touch base on that a little bit. And he's going to have a new podcast that's going to be motorcycle centric, but I'm going to have you kind of explain what your goals are for that.
Yeah, so it's a little 9x10 room in the side of my shop, and you're going to actually help me. Thank you very much, by the way, with the lighting and the cameras. I want to make sure I get that right. And I'd like to do at least weekly a podcast that's video and audio on several platforms. One, of course, on my channel for the video part of it. But I really want to make it interview heavy. I can't really see myself doing a podcast unless I absolutely can't get a guest by myself. I can talk for an hour and never skip a beat, but that's not my goal. My goal is to have someone like you on. And while I do want to make it motorcycle centric, as much as I love motorcycles, I don't want it to be all motorcycle. I want us to veer off. If you and I start talking about how we met and what kind of bike you ride and some rides we've done together and some collaborations, I want the stories. Like, just naturally that occur during a conversation, like when you went to Sturgis and, at the campground, this happened. Or I remember one time back in the day, I had a friend who was riding and, for me, I'll give you an example. The Sturgis trip that I took in 2015, we were going to ride through the mountains to Yellowstone from Cody. And this cowboy, he sat there and he saw me in the KOA campground checking in. And he goes, oh, hey there, you mind if I butt in? I said, sure. He goes, I'm going to tell you what you're going to do today. You ain't going to do Yellowstone. It's too late in the day. You're going to come back through them mountains at night, and there's grizzly bears and elk and deer. Don't do it. Too dangerous. You're going to go over Beartooth Pass into Red Lodge, Montana, and cut back across the mountains and come on back here to camp. And tomorrow you're going to go to Yellowstone. And he goes, and when you do, you're going to tell me on day 3 that you thought Beartooth was better than Yellowstone anyway. Well, anyway, here's the funny part, right? So see the story I'm talking about, right? You and I, we could talk about this. You've got that experience. Those are the stories I want. But here's the thing, like in that story, this guy told us this that night, the next night at 6:00, we got to the east entrance of Yellowstone, or we were leaving in this little town, pulled over. This husband and wife get off their bike, and no joke, remember what the cowboy said about the bear? This dude, don't even know him, gets off his bike and goes, hey, he goes, did you hear about the guy who hit the bear coming around the corner and broke his ribs, totaled his bike, and the bear ran off? And I'm like, no, think about that. Now, that doesn't mean that we were going to be there right at that time, but that cowboy straight up said the day before, you don't want to be going through the mountains with them grizzly bears, right? So that's the kind of stuff, to answer your question in a very long-winded way. And thank you, North Coast Baggers. I appreciate that. That's the kind of stuff that I want to hear from you, adventures you've had, whoever I have on, and I'm sure you're the same way, but anybody watching this, if you ever make it to San Diego, I'd love to have you on there. And Ryan, you at the same time, since you're the one who are bringing us together tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I want to do with the podcast.
I think it's going to be exciting, to be honest with you. I'm excited for that to launch. So when in your head, when do you want this thing to kind of go live? Do you have an idea?
Yeah, it was June of 2020. And that didn't happen. So I'm thinking it's going to end up being, well, you truly are. Ryan's actually going to help me tomorrow. And my buddy Rich is also helping out. And the wife says, I searched our entire trip for a bear. And you know what's funny? This last year, or in 2019, when I went to Sturgis before COVID hit, I too searched for a bear, and I was pissed that I missed one. I missed it. Everybody goes, did you see the bear go across the road? I was like, no. But yeah, so I think maybe, well, you tell me, dude. I mean, if we get the camera and the lighting right, I've got the audio already. All I need is one more microphone, and that's nothing. I can set that up. What do you think? 2 weeks? You think that's realistic?
Yeah.
Or
absolutely. And then we can start pumping out the podcast, because people like enjoying that podcast. I'm excited. I think everybody here, they can let us know in the comments right now if they'd be interested in listening to the podcast, or if they are ever in the San Diego area, they need to reach out so you can get them on your podcast.
Please.
That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome. And by the way, I even have it set up with a Zoom mic. Now, even though I'm shooting in 4K in the studio, the Zoom mic is 1080, but that's plenty good, I think, for YouTube.
Absolutely.
I can get people on Zoom too. I've got it set up to where I can do what you and I are doing, but just as a recorded video is all. So I would love to have people on there talking about adventures and how they got into writing, and, the husband and wife, like, Salty and Sprinkles, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
I think they're married, aren't they? Am I? Yeah, they're
Salty
married.
and Sprinkles. I don't think we want to put you. No, we're going to put you right on the spot right now. It's a live stream, so
that. You know what? You're right. Sorry.
No, let's find out. Salty and Sprinkles. This is a husband and wife thing, right? Can you clarify?
I mean, at least I think I know they're a couple from watching it, but I don't remember if they're married.
Yeah, 100%. But it's a really interesting take, and I really enjoy it. But he says, yes, we are married. It's awesome. Married. So, and if you're not keeping up, Clint, up in the top right-hand corner there's a little underneath the you can see where it says comments. You can follow along with everybody.
You told me this morning. You know what? You're right. I had it on private chat. I didn't click on comments. See, that's another thing. Ryan is like the smartest dude between the two of us by far. And he even told me, he did a run through. He's very thorough. He's not like me, seat of his pants kind of thing. He goes, hey, listen, when you want to see comments, click to the right. And I've literally been sitting here the entire time, silently thinking, why can't I see what these people are saying? So there we go. Oh, and so now Baggers and Brews, by the way, I love them too. You turned me on to them.
Yes. So actually, here's the whole thing we're talking about. So funny thing, Baggers and Brews, Clint actually doesn't sound like this 100%. He's got a little deeper of a voice right now than almost like my experience that I had with you guys a couple weeks ago, but not as bad. I tried to get tech support on the phone today, and they were not so helpful. So I'm going to still try to figure out what's going on. We tried different computers. This time I sound normal, and he, as my guest, sounds off. So I don't know.
But I'm sexy, right? It's totally not the face. I'm talking about the voice. Totally sexy.
Oh yeah. Everybody's digging it. So the everybody's digging it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they want to see. They want to talk to the fat guy. They want to talk sexy to the fat guy. That's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, so I think the podcast thing is gonna be good. I mean, especially when you have different guests and things like that, kind of branches out so that it's a little bit more than just the YouTube, right? Because you can be doing almost like this live stream. You don't have to be watching the live stream to enjoy some of the content, which is part of the reason for a podcast. Somebody could be driving to work and just play it there. So let me ask you, talking about different collaborations. Do you have somebody in your head that would be a dream collaboration that you would love to, like a bucket list collaboration, that one person that you would want to collaborate with that's a known subject?
Okay, known subject. So it doesn't have to be, in other words, if this person's willing to do it with me, they don't have to be a YouTuber? Because I got someone in mind 100%.
Well, then, yeah, let's go with the 100% for sure.
Hands down. Well, okay, there's two of them, sorry. It's Keanu Reeves because of his Arch motorcycles.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And I love that dude. And I heard he is an amazing guy. And I'm such a moron. They say don't ever I've had friends say this to me. You're the only guy I know that will pass up a once in a lifetime opportunity twice. His buddy, and I've done this, man. I don't know why I do this. I'm so excited about things. And then golden retriever, I forget about it. Then months later, I'm like, why didn't I do this? This guy is sitting in STP Bar and Grill, which, by the way, in San Diego, if you ever get there, some of the best food in town, and it's motorcycle and car themed. Anyway, this guy rides in on an Arch motorcycle, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like $100,000 bike. And so the owner of the restaurant, Shannon, goes, dude, you want to meet that guy who owns the bike? I'm like, hell yes. Baggers and Brews, I agree 100%. And so I roll up to his table. He introduces me. He's a super nice dude. Super nice. Well, not reviews, test rides bikes for Arch motorcycles. He knows Keanu. He's brought him to San Diego before. And I'm like, dude, if you ever, I would love to go on a ride. I'd film quietly or not at all, just anything. I'd love to meet the guy and ride with you. And so, but I never called the guy to follow up, like, say, a week later, like you would think an intelligent person would do. I didn't do that. So I probably lost my window. I don't know. Maybe not. I'll try and call him maybe in the next 2 years because I know that's how long it's going to take me. But that's one person, Keanu. The other is Norman Reedus Ride, because he's doing with his show exactly what I started out wanting to do with the travel, bringing friends, meeting people. And I still aspire to do that one day, except I'm going to make mine food centric on a bike and showing the area. So I still think I can do that. Maybe not as much travel, but show these restaurants like STP and all them.
No, that'd be absolutely awesome. So, yeah. Now, as we continue on with Clint August from Motorcycle Monkey, if you guys are just tuning in to the live stream, thank you for coming by. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you're enjoying this live stream and subscribe to the channel. We do this to kind of bring all the motovloggers together and content creators, and who knows what comes out of this. Hopefully, you guys are communicating outside of this realm as well. So, Clint, as I said before, is a I like to say voice personality, because you really do have a gift when it comes to, you should see this guy operate, especially behind the camera when I'm watching him or we're doing collaborations. This guy, I could say, hey, here's the topic, and he can go all the way through it without any ums or like I've got a bad problem with that. So just to be that, you just have that gift to be able to go through and say what you want to say, and that personality, and everybody absolutely loves your personality.
Thank you, man.
But I do know that, deep inside you, there are multiple personalities. I'm going to tell you that right now. And for everybody that's watching, for everybody that's watching, I want you to know that if you were to just close your eyes for just a second, we would have a second guest come in here. And Clint, I'm going to ask you, can you dig deep? Can you find a way to dig deep and give us maybe a little voice, if you could?
Which one are you looking for? Is it who I think it is? Is it?
It should be on your screen right now. Can you see it?
There it is. Okay. I was looking at you, not that. Yeah, there we go. Let me get him here for a second.
Yeah, you got to dig deep.
How are you? You know, it's absolutely fantastic to see you here in California. We're going to train at the gym. We're going to get Clint to lose weight and not be a fat bastard. We're going to get him pumping iron, riding on the Harleys here. We're going to Venice Beach. We're going to come together here. It would be fantastic, of course.
That is okay. If you have to at least leave a thumbs up for Clint just busting that out. I know I kind of put him on the spot. I did not tell him I was going to be doing that.
You did not.
But yeah, no, it's and of course the voice it was on point. I don't know if the deeper voice helped or hurt it, but you're always on point with that voice. So I appreciate you doing that. And what we're going to do, because I know that Clint is on a little bit of a time crunch here because he's one of the busiest guys I know. But we're going to do something that I like to call, Clint, around the horn. Okay, this is going to be pretty much everybody that comes on this show, and around the horn is going to revolve around 4 questions. Are you ready for them?
Oh God, you didn't tell me about this. Okay,
no, this is part of the gig, but I guess it's going to catch like wildfire for the next guest.
Twice a day.
Wow.
Oh, sorry.
Wow.
I didn't know if you were going to ask me about that. Sorry.
Derailed already. All right, Clint, first question. You are on a motorcycle trip to Sturgis. What bike are you riding other than the one that you currently have?
Ooh. Of all the ones that I've actually ridden, that'd be tough. Can I give 2 or am I being a wuss?
Nope. You got to give 1.
1. Oh God. I don't know. You know what? I would choose probably a 2021 Road Glide with all the bells and whistles. I thought that was a very smooth bike. I really liked it a lot. Yeah, that's what I would choose.
Okay. So first answer, he is on his 2021 Road Glide. So you get to bring 1 person on this trip with you, dead or alive. They are going to be with you for your trip to Sturgis on your 2020 Road Glide special. Who's coming with you?
This is not going to make any sense whatsoever because I don't think.
No, that's okay because you can explain it.
Okay, Dean Martin from the Rat Pack. Hell yes, Dean Martin.
Okay. Yep. Do you want to elaborate why it would be Dean Martin?
Absolutely. First of all, I'm enthralled with his voice. I think that he was one of the coolest cats that ever lived. It's a trap. I know, Baggers and Brews, right? What the hell's he doing? Her name is Barbie, and I really want her to come with. No, he's just a cool cat. I loved his music. I love the Rat Pack. I've read, a book on the guy, and I loved his movies, and just he epitomized cool. But I would envision that if he dug riding every place we stopped, it might be a waypoint for him to perform like he did live in Tahoe or in Vegas. And I get to watch every show along the route. That's what I think, and have great conversations with this dude.
Okay. All right. So you're with Dean Martin on your 2021 Road Glide special, and you are on your way to Sturgis. You guys are having a great time.
Wait, is he riding on the back, or did he get his own bike?
No, he's got his own bike.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, he gets to choose on which one it is. Awesome. It's Dean Martin, so it's fine. All right, so you're on this trip, and you get to have a alcoholic beverage with Dean Martin. What are you going to be drinking?
Jack and Coke.
Jack and Coke.
And I'd probably do either single barrel Jack. You're making me choose one. Gentleman's Jack. That's what I would choose.
Okay, Gentleman's Jack.
Yeah.
All right, final question for Around the Horn. It's the end of the trip. You didn't cover too much because you were watching him perform pretty much everywhere, but you get to ask Dean Martin 1 question. What is the 1 question you want him to answer?
In between his marriages, how many women has he slept with over his lifetime career? Can I ask 1 more question?
Okay.
How many times was he approached? He's the epitome of cool, man.
Yeah, no, I guess that's a good point.
And by the way, that's not really the question. The real question is, how does he come up with the music that he came up with? That's actually the question I would want to ask him.
I like it. Mark Steadfast is 25 Macallan. Big fan. I've actually had Macallan 25 one time in my life. Great Scotch.
I've never had it. I'm a hillbilly from East County, so I have not had that.
So yeah, this is that's something that's I labeled Around the Horn, right? So we're going to ask those 4 questions to everybody that's on this show. It's kind of an interesting take. Everybody's got a different answer and different reasonings. So that's called Around the Horn.
I like that.
I know, buddy, you're on a big time crunch and you got a lot going on. So, if we are approaching the end of that time, we still have a lot to cover on this live stream going over the Adam Sandoval trip. I don't know if you want to discuss that before you leave, or do you?
Sure. How about 5 more minutes? I'm going to stretch it, dude.
5 more minutes. All right.
Yes.
So
if my wife leaves me, I'm on your couch.
Copy that. All right. So obviously, Around the Horn is concluded, but we're going to talk about our experiences and going out with Mr. Adam Sandoval and how that came to fruition. You guys can start, if you have questions inside, the side chat there, I'd love to get to them as well. But what an amazing trip. We had a chance. If you guys haven't seen the video, Adam came, he was on a big ride going down through Baja on his Harley and things like that. We had a chance to connect, and we took him out to the Superstition Mountains here in California, which was just a amazing time for a couple different reasons. We went during the week where out there in the desert, it is slam packed on the weekends because we're in the middle of that season, right? So we were able to go during the week and take advantage of almost nobody. And when I say almost nobody, it was at nighttime, you could almost hear a pin drop, which was really nice for us to get together and just do this collaboration video. Because Adam in itself, he is known for the motorcycle stuff. And it's really his lifestyle that is more, I don't want to say it's more interesting. It's just as interesting because he really enjoys just being on the outdoors and taking these different trips. He doesn't really care if he is on a moped, a Harley, or now getting into off-roading and Jeeps. So that was a really, really cool experience. And just to be able to hang out, get to know him as a person, see him work. He reminds me a lot of you, Clint, to be honest, because he is so busy. And this is a guy that his followers and subscribers mean a lot to him. And there's no way at his level that you can 100% get to everybody's comments because he gets so many, right? But I will tell you, every single morning and every single night, that guy had some type of device in his hand trying to see if he can get to as many as he possibly could. And between getting all of his videos out and he's trying to get out, he was doing, this year he's doing 5 videos a week. Can you even imagine doing 5 videos a week? So that's really cool, to see him really care about the subscribers and his fan base. I really enjoyed watching him work, and it also gave me different ideas on, my own growth and where I want to be, later on. So, I'm leading into that because I know that he was supposed to come out to Mayride, and maybe you can touch real quick on why, or before you leave, on what Mayride is and what everybody can, maybe look forward to in the future for Mayride and how that started. And I know that you're running short on time, but if you wouldn't mind sharing.
Yeah, of course, man. No, I appreciate you even bringing that up. So Mayride is an event for our troops and their families, every branch of the military. And for a while, we did have a very small charity who every penny was helping them a lot. And then unfortunately, the guy who ran it passed away. So we have switched to the ASYMCA, Armed Services YMCA, for every branch. Now, while they're a huge organization, they make really good use of the money. And so it is for our troops and their families. When I first got my Harley, I brought it home to San Diego. My buddy Mark Ballack was actually pissed. I brought him over to my house to see the bike, and we had always talked about riding together. And he goes, "What, dude, you had to go out and get a $20,000 bike. We couldn't get one for like $7-8 grand. You're going to break me." So we actually went back to the same dealership, took a trip together to go get his bike, brought it back to San Diego. And in the next course of the next couple months, we noticed that everybody on a bike just seemed to be so community driven and very, very patriotic. So he looked at me one day and says, "Dude, let's do something for our men and women in uniform and their families." I said, "I'm in." And we had our first Mayride. We didn't call it Mayride at first, but it was Hogs and Heroes. And we just thought some people spell heroes H-O-W-S, H-O-S or H-O-E-S. The website wasn't as easy to get to, just in case somebody spelled it wrong. So he goes, "How about Mayride? It's in May." I'm like, "All right, cool." So we held our first one. when it was still called Hogs and Heroes. We had one rider show up that was in the Navy in the rain. One rider. That was our total amount of riders, our first event. And we had about 30 to 40 people at the after party. And I guess based on that success, we thought, yeah, let's do it again. And now it's grown to about 4,000 to 6,000 people at the after party. Biggs Harley Davidson in San Marcos. You meet in the morning. We have opening ceremonies with the Purple Heart Pledge of Allegiance, the prayer for the bikes, blessing of the bikes. I mean, we have the national anthem, and then everybody hits the road for a poker run. They come back to Biggs. Whoever gets the best hand wins $500. And through registration of the riders and all the raffle tickets that we sell with all the prizes, we have about 80 to 100 vendors. That is how we raise money for our troops and their families. We have live music and kids activities, and it just goes from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's a great event. COVID, of course, last year, and now I know this year is going to change that a bit. But I think Norco Baggers is running. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, it's all for our troops and their families. There's mayride.com if you ever want to get involved, you ever want to come out for it. I'm really hoping that next year, although we are going to do something this year with a ride every day in May and an actual ride on May 15th, we're just not going to have vendors. We're not allowed to yet. We can't get the street shut down this year. We're hoping in 2022 it'll be what it was before. But it is all for our men and women who've given so much in the military, and that is what it's about.
Hey,
did I explain that okay, by the way?
No, absolutely. That's pretty much right on point as I understand Mayride and what you put into it for just a one-day event. I mean, that's months and months and months, if not a year of planning, because before the pandemic and us getting ready, that was actually going to be my first big production with you. Was going to be the Mayride thing. That's what I was all fired up for. And unfortunately, the pandemic kind of shut it down, but that was my understanding of it. So, yeah, man, I mean, I think things will get back to normal, the new normal, which hopefully is the old normal.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
But yeah, man, Mayride, just a great event. Folks, if you guys are just tuning in, we're going to actually be saying goodbye to Clint so he can get some other things done. Thank you, Clint, for stopping by today and just spending some time with us. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and follow him on YouTube and on Instagram. Instagram is at motorcycle_monkey, and you can find a Motorcycle Monkey channel on YouTube. It's funny, if you just say Motorcycle Monkey, you get a whole bunch of monkeys on motorcycles. So
you really do.
Yeah, you really do. So, but yeah, he's got a fantastic logo, things like that. So make sure you guys are checking him out. But Clint, thank you so much. Hopefully we can have you back on in the future.
Thanks, man. I'd love to come back on. I appreciate the opportunity. And I didn't get a chance to say this, but I do love Ryan's channel. I love the way you film, man.
I appreciate that.
Setzer says later on, have a great night. It's fantastic to be with you, Ryan.
All right, buddy. Take care.
You too.
We're going to continue on here on this live stream and go over some of the different things that we're going to be having, I guess, coming up this year. We talked about maybe doing some more collaborations, as we talked about in the beginning of the show. What I would really like to do, there's going to be a lot of travel coming up. That's my goal right now, is to get a lot of traveling done. And as I travel around, I want to be able to hopefully get into your areas. If you guys are at all interested in doing some type of collaboration and or I don't know, whatever we can come up with, you can always DM me on Instagram, and I try to check those nightly. So I'll try to get back to you there, and we'll just see what we can come up with. So I plan on doing a lot of traveling. We are going to get out to the K River campground, and some other things that is going to happen. We will be at Sturgis this year. So yeah, let me know if that's something you guys are interested in. I would love to get some just to meet people in person and I don't know, see what we can come up with. So that's going to happen. Also in production, one of my goals for 2021 is the production, or at least the start of the production of a documentary. And that's in the beginning. We're not even to the production side of it yet. We are still definitely in pre-production, but I would like to, some people are interested in things like that. Some people are not, and whether they want to get involved. But as we travel around, definitely looking for some people that might be interested to be in the documentary. So if you're interested in that, also send me a DM on Instagram so that I can start kind of creating a list of things like that. So moving on ahead, let me grab my trusty notes here. Let's go over some of the latest and greatest news that is going on in the motorcycle community, which was kind of shocking. But I don't know if you guys were aware, things that you want to keep in mind for your upcoming motovlogs, that even though we had a terrible, I would say 2020, the economy kind of was just all over the place. What you might not have known is that motorcycle sales were at the top that they've almost ever been in 2020 going into 2021, which I thought to be interesting and fascinating. Some other things, I know we've talked about it, the electric motorcycle, folks, it's here, it's staying. You might as well get out there and get used to it, because there are a whole bunch of different manufacturers that are coming out with an electric motorcycle. I'm not sure personally how I feel about that right now, but I'm telling you, it is it's pretty interesting. Make sure you get this banner off here. The other thing is, the adventure bikes. There's going to be more and more of those adventure bikes. I know that we talked about it, and I talked about it on my thoughts on how Harley did it, and whether I agreed or disagreed. They obviously knew a lot better than I did, because it is something that there's a high-end market for it. So really interesting to see those types of things. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting year. I haven't been on an electric motorcycle, so maybe I should try it out before I knock it or give it my own opinion. But let's go check in with the chat, see who's here with us. Bells is still here, I believe. The wife is still here. Motorcycle Monkey. And we didn't get a chance to talk about it too much, but he has his own brand of coffee, which is delicious. And I mean, just the packaging and everything about it. So yeah, Motorcycle Monkey coffee, got to definitely check that out. I do like this K River for a Motovlog meetup. Let's do it. Salty and sprinkles. That might not be a bad idea. Let me marinate on that for a little bit, because I think that that'd be a great idea. So motorcycle safety is important. I might be behind the eight ball on that conversation. Let's see what we got here. Bells, I have to roll. Hope to see you all in Sturgis, Ryan. Hope you all have a great night. Bells, thank you so much. Thank you for coming by. What do we got? Gas Electric, welcome all riders. So it's kind of interesting because, especially here in California, we already have talks about them getting rid of all gas vehicles. I think it was like 2032. So it's not that far around the way. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a different type of feel. And like I said, I drive a Tundra that gets like 8.2 miles to the gallon. So I'm not really into the Prius lifestyle. Hopefully, no offense to anybody that has Priuses out there, but I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about it. What do we got? I've never been to Cali, so let's go. Salty and sprinkles, come on out. It is. We do have a lot of great riding out here. There's no doubt about that. The road conditions can be sketchy at times, just because the maintenance on the roads. They've let that slide for so long, but we do have a lot of great places to ride. But yeah, if you ever want to come out, please do so. Reach out to me. Let me know. Sensor pendants. I haven't been since I was a kid. Want to do Redwoods. I'm sure that's the tourist in me, though. Probably much better riding. So, what's funny is I have not done the Redwoods on a motorcycle either. That's also a trip that I would like to do. Here's hey, the wife, living in Cali my whole life, never been to the Redwoods, would love to ride up there. So I don't know, maybe we can get something together where we just make a journey out of it. Anybody that's interested. So make sure you guys are reaching out. It's always important for me to know when I'm scheduling trips on people that are interested in either doing a collaboration or that are not necessarily camera shy, if you will, and they'd be good to go. So make sure you guys are reaching out so I can kind of put something together. Mark, SoCal's the best. Did you mean riding or writing? Just kidding, Mark. I know you meant riding. The best riding. I live here in SoCal, so it's awesome. Yes, it is a great place for sure. Let's see what we have as far as we did on the horn, tips and tricks, right? Tips and tricks. So we talking about motovlogs, and we touched base earlier in this live stream about the importance of shortening things down and just kind of getting rid of that fluff. So I'm going to leave you all tonight with a final tip for your upcoming motovlogs, and maybe you try it out, maybe it helps you, but it's something that you don't necessarily need things scripted, right? But you do need to plot out an idea. So I'm going to give you an example, and you can apply this to your next motovlog or content that you're creating. It doesn't have to be motovlog, any vlog. But let's say you're going to take a ride tomorrow to, I don't know, your local area mountains that maybe everybody likes to see, or maybe it's a good scenic route. What you want to do is during that ride that you want to, kind of create this content for, you want to have 3 different subject matters around that same topic, right? So let's say here locally, I'm going to go to Julian, right? My segment is going to be, hey, we're going to go to Julian. I'm going to show a little bit of the ride up to Julian, get the feel for it, your surroundings, your environment. Once you get into Julian, you talk to the camera, you just do a talking head, what you're doing there, the beauty, everything about it. Then you can go into talking about the town while showing another small segment, right? And I say break it down into 3 segments. So breaking it down that the town itself, because you're going to go get some Julian apple pie, right? So your next talking head segment is you got a Julian apple pie, and then your final segment is going to be maybe the sunset in Julian with the snow in the background or whatever it might be. Limit your ideas down to 3. The topic's still the same, but just a 3 segment video. And if you put that in your head ahead of time, you don't have to script it out. But if you just put in whatever it is that you're going to do that day and try to come up with 3 segments, not only is your filming going to get done a lot faster, but your editing is going to go a lot smoother, and you're going to be able to pump out more content. Sometimes to the point where you can probably get 2 to 3 videos at least shot in one day. And now you're just kind of ahead of the game. So that is going to be the final tip for Motovlogger Monday. But thank you guys so much on the side chat. Definitely appreciate you guys coming out there, and we'll check back in one last time with everybody in the side chat, because I know, look at this one here, the Hog Rally in Milwaukee. I will have to look that up. I also have a good friend that lives nearby, so that would be awesome. Let's see here. Baggers and Brews, he says, preach, you need an outline. I repeat, you need an outline. It's so important. And it doesn't have to be sophisticated. You can do it right on your phone. Just the shots that you need, shoot it, be done with it, move on to the next scene, and you're going to be a lot happier. Salting Sprinkles, I've deleted entire videos when I go to edit, and I notice I wander off and ramble. When in the moment, it felt good. Editing, not so much. Yep. Hey, we've all been there. I can't tell you how many videos I've literally completed and they ended up never being posted. Maybe kept the footage for some B-roll later on. I always have my next morning rule, which means that I will edit a video, I will sleep on it, I wake up the next morning, and when I rewatch it, if I still enjoy it, I'll post it. But there's been some times where I woke up and it never made it. So Salting Sprinkles, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Sets or pendants, very nice. Let's see, who else do we have here? Hey, the Badgers, thank you for coming by. This is Motovlogger Monday. We do this every single Monday, or try to. If we are not out on a trip, this is where all the motovloggers can come together and hopefully come up with a collaboration. You guys can communicate outside of this forum, but exchanging ideas, whether you're watching this during the live stream or during the replay, just connect with everybody. I mean, it's all about getting together with other vloggers and trying to create just something good for the audience. So always think about your audience first. That's a little bonus tip. Think about what your audience wants to hear. So Baggers and Brews got to go. Thank you so much, guys, for coming out tonight and spending some time. I know it's running a little bit longer than anticipated, but yeah, Badgers, thank you so much again. But that is going to probably conclude it for this week's Motovlogger Monday. We will be back next Monday talking about more motovlogging tips. We're going to have another guest on, and stay tuned. Make sure you guys are following us on Instagram to see who that guest is going to be. But this is Full Throttle Hog. Thank you guys so much, and we will catch you next Monday. I got hopefully 3 different videos coming out this week, and would love to hear you guys' feedback because I'm very excited. 2 of them are going to be tips and tricks for motovlogging. So take care, everybody. Have a safe night.